James Milner made his 800th club appearance against Inter Milan on Wednesday evening, which is some achievement. You know, you go back to 2002 when he made his debut for Leeds as a fresh-faced 16-year-old, and he's still plying his trade right now, which is quite formidable, isn't it? He's
at the top level.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to go on to say. In fact, yeah, he's had spells at Newcastle, at Aston Villa, at Manchester City, and now at Liverpool, and he is set to sign a new contract. That's the latest situation, isn't it, that they're suggesting? Before we get your thoughts on him and what you think of should he not be signing a new contract at Liverpool, let's hear from former England teammate Jack Wilshere, who spoke about Milner on Drive.
He is the best at doing the fundamentals, the basics.
Yeah.
Running, the tackling.
Which is what you need.
Running into places where, like, if I'm playing against midfield, he's taking me places that I don't want to go. And he does that consistently. I mean, he's done it for 800 games and he's still going. It's unbelievable.
So that was Jack Wilshere and Darren Bent. They are on talkSPORT Drive on Thursday, every Thursday from 4:00 if you want to tune in to them. Both of them, they're full of admiration, lauding James Milner, who is, 36 years old. He is, I think, everyone knows about what James Milner brings to a team. Everyone knows also about his ethics and his, he doesn't drink alcohol, for example. He's somebody that really has wanted to maintain longevity with his career, and that's exactly what he's getting. He's the ultimate professional, isn't he?
Well, yeah, he's a little bit nasty as well.
Oh, on the pitch.
He can be feisty and handle himself. But yes, you're right, Nat. Absolute great pro. Look, Steven Gerrard, when he was a young man coming through, Gary McAllister joined Liverpool. And I think he was 35 when he joined Liverpool. Was fantastic for Gerrard. I think the influence of Milner will be on Harvey Elliott, Curtis Jones. Like Henderson would, Jordan Henderson would be a similar influence. Great pros in dressing rooms. Sir Alex Ferguson did it with a number of great pros at Man United. Certainly Scholesy and other players came in, do great jobs. Moutinho at Wolves, 35 years old. What a player he's been over the years. That type of mentality in a dressing room. You can't buy that as a manager because you don't... They're the first person you can get out of the club if a senior pro now is a problem and there's disruption off the pitch and things are not quite going well and you need to make changes, and a senior pro that might echo or might be a bit vocal too much for a manager. These are for the team. James Milner is a team player. That every dressing room meeting, every training session, every match he plays, whether he's being sub or whether he's coming on or going off, he never shirks anything, his responsibilities for the team. And that to Klopp is really important. Like Fernandinho. I could name loads and loads of players now. Fernandinho's the same. Why is Rodri playing to the level he is? Is it the influence of Fernandinho and what he did for City and set the standards? Because great players set standards for others to follow. And what, Jack Wilshere said there is spot on. He's had 800 games. Have you ever... I ask you this question. Has James Milner played badly for anybody? Newcastle, Villa, Man City, Liverpool. All of them he's played really well for over a consistent time, a long period of time. That in itself is incredible. I was lucky to get to 38. I had bad times in my career, Nat, but I tried at the end of my career, and I had a coach say to me, sat me down at 37, said, I'm giving you an extra year's contract. All I want you to do is be the best pro you can be. For me at 37, I've got a young team. You're going to play, you're going to be in, you're going to be out, but you're going to play. But I want you to be there on the training ground on a Monday morning, because if they see you're doing it, then they have got no argument. If I've got a 37-year-old who's got, 88 caps for Ireland and then goes and does the training sessions with no complaints, they can't say anything. And that's the sort of effect these senior pros have.
So it sounds as though, for you, it's a no-brainer that Liverpool would want him to sign another contract.
As long as he can still do it, and there's no evidence that James is, his days have gone or his legs have gone, he still offers something. Will he be in the team every week? No. But will he be a part of the bigger picture for Liverpool, having good people around, people who drive the younger players? Absolutely. They're vital for the team to be successful. And that's why I said to you, mentioned Pep Guardiola and keeping Fernandinho there. Why did he keep him there when he knew Rodri could take that place? He's kept him there because the influence that he gives to other players, it's so important for success. It needs everybody to think of the same picture, what the goals are. And then players will remind you of it.
But like you say, someone like James Milner knows he's not going to start every game. He's not going to necessarily play every game. But he'll have a part to play in some way.
Well, he'll be ready.
Of course.
He'll be ready to play every game.
I'm sure. But he, as you know, when you get to the latter part of your career, you know you're not necessarily going to be needed every single game. But there will be moments, whether it's in-game or training, wherever it is, that you are still needed. You are still required to do your bit. And when you have a role model like you have in James Milner, I mean, that's invaluable to a lot of teams.
It's the way you conduct yourself, you know, on the buses going to games, the way you just act between the lads in the dressing room, on the training pitches, in the hotels. You know, they're really important to you. I've always looked at senior pros as, you know, and Harry Redknapp was one of his greatest assets. We're bringing in players that had seen better days, but were good senior pros that would come into a club and make a great effect. I think he signed Teddy at Portsmouth at 39, nearly 40. Right. Took him for a year. Wanted him there because he was trying to build something of success and get him Portsmouth up, and thought he could do a job. So that, you know, I'm a big fan.
So for those that might just
Tom Brady is obviously a ridiculous, you know, example of that.
Sure.
Going and being a champion elsewhere. You know, in sport, you need this type of people.
But for those that might outwardly looking in thinking, well, why would you want to waste money? And I say this in just a sort of devil's advocate way. Why would you want to waste money in a player who isn't going to be playing week in, week out, when you could put that money to someone that might?
Why? Because you'd be a fool to ignore the value of them and what they give. And when they're not the player they once were, Klopp or Guardiola will recognise that, like they did with Vincent Kompany, that their better days are gone. They move on. Or if they think they got a role to play at the football club, they will have a role at the football club. You know, this does happen. You know, it happened to Steven Gerrard. But I do think it's really important. And James is, like you said, exemplary as a professional. That's clear as day. And I think it's such a good thing at a club that wants to have success. You need them. I think Arteta would love... I think he was hoping Aubameyang could be that at Arsenal, be that senior pro. Look how badly it turned out because he wasn't a good senior pro. He was doing things off the field that were affecting the group. So he had to get rid of him.
Game Day Breakfast with Natalie Sawyer and Tony Cascarino. Saturday mornings from 6 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.